Meron naman palang nakakuha ng maximum points na pwedeng ma-acquire at 35. Meron ding naka-39. So, 35 lang din yun. Meron din naka-43. Pero 35 lang din ang maximum na pwedeng ma-acquire. Bisaya naman palang makataas o hindi agad. Linago na ang midterm exams. All the rest, score ay 12, 20, 28, 26, 10, 7, 9, 23, 7, yeah, 17, 19, 4, may naka-4 pa. 6. Kung ito pong nakuha yung score dito, automatically will be added on your raw score sa midterm exam. So, yung mga medyo mababa ang score, sila dapat yung mga baka 35 sana. Pero hindi po ata ganun nangyari. Hindi po mababa at mababa pa din ang nakuha sa supplementary exam ay di babawi po sa ibang assessments. Attention sa mga lasa itong hapon sa mga lasa. Okay, so yung inyong dapat pala yung face-to-face natin is last Monday, tama ba? Hindi tayo nakapag-meet because of the super typhoon. Kaya hindi pa nadala sa akin ang mga physical copies ng mga outputs, tama ba? Sige. Pero nakaka-turn in naman dito sa classroom. So, pag nagkaroon ako ng free time, I'll be starting to check your outputs. Sige. Anyways, continue na tayo ng discussion for Module 5. Nakapag-start na tayo last time, tama ba? So, sa O1. Pa-confirm po ako kung visible na ang screen.
Yes, po.
Okay, tama dito tayo natapos. So, natapos pala natin hanggang inductance. May questions sa mga previous discussions? Ano bang di malinaw sa mga naging discussion? Wala ng questions. Let's proceed sa ating next topic, which is capacitors. So, si Michael Faraday, sa daw English chemist and physicist, was probably the greatest experimentalist who ever lived. He was born near London, Faraday realized his boyhood dream by working with the great chemist Sir Humphrey Davy at the Royal Institution, where he worked for 54 years. He made several contributions in all areas of physical science and coined such words o sa kanya para nanggaling ng words na electrolysis, anode, and cathode. His discovery of electromagnetic induction in 1831 was a major breakthrough in engineering because it provided a way of generating electricity. The electric motor and generator operate on this principle. The unit of capacitance is represented by big letter F or farad that was named after Michael Faraday. A capacitor is a passive element designed to store energy in its electric field. Besides resistors, capacitors are the most common electrical components. Capacitors are used extensively in electronics, communications, computers, and power systems. So for example daw, ginagamit ito in tuning circuits at radio receivers and as a dynamic memory element in computer systems. So ano ba yung typical construction of a capacitor? So typically, capacitor meron siyang metal plates. And yung metal plates na yun, meron pong surface area. Sa pagitan ng two metal plates na iyan, meron tayong tinatawag na dielectric material with permittivity E o yung epsilon. And then meron tayong distance between the plates. So yun yung mga parameters concerning that we are going to encounter dealing with capacitors. A capacitor consists of two conducting plates separated na by an insulator called dielectric. In many practical applications, the plates may be aluminum foil while the dielectric may be air. So ito yung mga possible na air, ceramic, paper, or metal. So makikita niyo itong dalawang plates na iyan. Dito kasi sa pagitan, hindi ko makita ang white. Dito sa pagitan na yan, may palaman dyan. No, yung nagsiseparate sa dalawang yan ay yung ating dielectric material. So doon po nakabase yung ating permittivity. Based on the material use. Can be air, ceramic, paper, or metal. When a voltage source is connected to the capacitor, the source deposits a positive charge on one plate and a negative charge on the other. The capacitor is said to store the electric charge. The amount of charge stored, represented by Q, is directly proportional to the applied voltage. So, makikita nyo, kaya meron tayong relationship that Q or charge Q is directly proportional to the voltage. Kaya yung ating formula Q is equal to CV, where C is the constant of proportionality known as the capacitance. Again, unit of capacitance is in farad. Now, so yung ating charge Q is measured in what? Charge is measured in what?
Columns po.
This is measured in coulombs. Yung ating capacitance, kasasabi lamang, is measured in
Farads po.
this is measured in farads and this is measured in volts. So therefore, ito pa lang isang coulomb can be actually equal to farad volt or ano sabi dito? That 1 farad is equal to 1 coulomb per joule. So, pwede kong sabihin, if you're going to solve for the value of capacitance, that is just Q over V. Nakuha po. Although the capacitance C of a capacitor is the ratio of the charge per plate to the applied voltage, it does not depend on Q, or it depends on the physical dimensions of the capacitor. For example, for the parallel plate, a capacitor shown Q is equal to CV, the capacitance is given by C is equal to E A over D, wherein yung iyong C nga dito is your capacitance. Your E is the permittivity. Permittivity. Depending on the material used. It's either, nabanggit kanina, it's either air, ceramic, paper, or mica. Yung iyong A dito is the surface area ng iyong plate, and then D is the distance between the plates. Now, if you're going to relate it sa ating mga previous formula para hindi makalimutan, madaling matandaan, maalala nyo yung ating resistance is actually meron siyang multiplier rho. Ano nga ulit yung rho na ito? What this rho represents? Sa previous discussions po, yung ating R, di ba R plot, o yung rho natin dito represents what? Yes po.
Density po.
Okay, zero po ay ginagamit as density. Pero sa atin sa basic EE, we are using it as, yes po.
Resistivity po.
Resistivity po.
So this is our resistivity. Resistivity. And alam natin that resistivity depends on the material used. Tama? Kung ano yung material na ginamit, there has a certain value of resistivity. Pag pinag-usapan naman natin is yung ating L or inductance, meron na tayong multiplier dyan na mu. Naalala, Luna over L. O, ano naman itong ating mu? Mu represents yes po. Yes po. Ano po ang ibig sabihin ng mu?
Ay, sorry po, di ko po pala nababa.
Permeability po.
This is your permeability. And yung permeability natin also depends on the material used. Tama? So, dito sa atin, sa capacitance, meron na tayong multiplier epsilon. Ang epsilon naman, this is again the permittivity depending on the material used. So, para huwag makalimutan ang mga formula, lagi siyang may multiplier na Greek symbol representing something depending on the material used. Naintindihan? Naintindihan po? Hanapan ng relationship para hindi makalimutan ang formula. Yan, so A is the surface area. Okay, so sabi ko na po yan. And epsilon is the permittivity depending on the material, yung dielectric material between the plates. Now, in general, there are three factors to determine the value of a capacitance. Yung una daw is the surface area of the plates. The larger the area, the greater the capacitance. Kaya nga sabi natin kanina dun sa ating formula, dapat that our capacitance is directly proportional to the area. The spacing between the plates, the smaller the space, the greater the capacitance. So, yung papansin nyo sa ating formula, naka-inverse ang iyong distance. And then the permittivity of the material, the higher the permittivity, the greater the capacitance. Now, so from these concepts, you can derive the formula for capacitance. C is equal to epsilon A over D. Capacitor is being charged. Therefore, it can be discharged. Figure shows common types of fixed value capacitors. So, yung una daw is polyester capacitor. They are light in weight, stable, and their change with temperature is predictable. Instead of polyester, other dielectric materials such as mica and polystyrene may be used. Film capacitors are rolled and housed in metal or plastic films. Electrolytic capacitors produce very high capacitance. So, ganito po ang itsura niya. So, alin dito ang kalimitan yung nakikita? Kalimitan itong polyester capacitor. Itong electrolytic, ito naman ay for high applications. Yung C ang madalas yung nakikita. Pagkamang high capacitance ang ating ina-apply. To obtain the current voltage relationship of the capacitor, we take the derivative of both sides of Q is equal to CV. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng equation that I is equal to C dV over dt. Kasi bakit ano ba yung ating Q? Diba Q natin is what? Ano po yung ating charge Q formula? Formula po natin. Ang Q. Siya nalimutan na. Formula po ng charge. Charge Q. Yung walang nating small letter Q. This is IT. Ano? Now, if you differentiate daw yung Q, di ba you can get I is dQ over dt. The change in charge with respect to time. Kaya ka nagkaroon ng ganitong formula. And then differentiating your V, that is dV over dt. So tatandaan po ang formula, I is equal to C dV over dt. This is the current voltage relationship for a capacitor, assuming the passive sign convention. The relationship is illustrated in the graph. So as you can see in the graph, being your vertical axis being the current and the horizontal axis being the change in voltage with respect to time, what can you observe sa slope? That is a linear relationship ng current and voltage. Capacitors that satisfy I is equal to C dQ over dt are said to be linear. For a nonlinear capacitor, the plot of the current voltage relationship obviously would be not a straight line. The voltage current relation of the capacitor can be obtained by integrating both sides of I. We get, so ito po ang ating na lamang tatandaan. So same lang din naman sila. Ang kaibahan lang, dito is yung voltage function. Naalala nyo doon sa inductor, if you're going to solve for the value of I with respect to time, that is 1 over L times the integral of your voltage function. Naalala? No, so pagdating dito sa ating um, capacitance, kung kukunin naman ang voltage, so since siya ay ang nasa atin dito is current function. So that is the integral, the 1 over C times the integral of the current function. So tatandaan na lamang ang formula para hindi na i-integrate pa individually yung current function. Where V of T sub O is equal to Q of T sub O. Is the voltage across the capacitor at time T sub O. Yeah. Now, when we talk about capacitors, the instantaneous power delivered naman in a capacitor, so same principle pa din that P power P is equal to VI. However, meron na tayong inclusion ng formula natin ng I is C dV over dt. Naalala? Then substituting it, we have the value na CV dV over dt. The energy stored in the capacitor is therefore, so dito same din naman, yung energy stored is the integral of the power function with respect to time. Mapansin nyo, pinakita lamang integrate ang ND that the energy stored is just equal to 1/2 CV squared. So yun, same process ang ginawa. Ano yung, kung nare-recall nyo, sa insulator, W is equal to 1/2 Li squared. Naalala? Kapag sa capacitor, that is 1/2 CV squared. So, hindi na kailangan mag-integrate isa-isa. Sa uluhin na lamang ang formula. Pero kung trip mo mag-integrate, edi it's up to you. You get the power function with respect to time, then you integrate it from negative infinity to t. Naintindihan po? So, parang di hassle sa uluhin ang formula. Energy stored in an inductor, 1/2 Li squared. Energy stored in a capacitor, 1/2 CV squared. We should note that the following important properties of a capacitor. Note from I is equal to C dV over dt that when the voltage across a capacitor is not changing with time. So, ibig sabihin, that is constant. Ano daw ang mangyayari sa current? The current through the capacitor becomes 0. Kasi bakit? If the voltage is constant, not changing with respect to time, ano ba ang derivative of a constant? Di ba ay 0? So, kung ito ay mag-0, automatically ito ay mag-0 as well. Naintindihan po? So, therefore, pwede natin palang sabihin that capacitor is an open circuit to DC. The voltage on the capacitor must be continuous. The capacitor resists an abrupt change in the voltage across it. According to I is equal to C dV over dt, this continuous change in voltage requires an infinite current, which is physically impossible. The ideal capacitor does not dissipate energy. It takes power from the circuit when storing energy in its field. and returns previously stored energy when delivering power to the circuit. A real non-ideal capacitor has a parallel model leakage resistance. Kung sa makikita nyo, this is an example of a circuit ng non-ideal capacitor. Meron siyang leakage resistance. Okay, naintindihan po ang concept ng capacitors. Mga dapat tandaan sa capacitors. May questions? Okay, if walang questions, let's try to solve example number 6. You are asked to calculate the charge stored on a 3 picofarad capacitor with 20 volts across it. Hinahanap ang charge. Gawin mo muna para is the list of the given. Ano mabinigay sa iyo? Iyong capacitance na 3 picofarad. What is pico? In scientific notation, pico is what? 3 times 10 raised to negative 12 farad. So, binigyan din tayo ng voltage across it. That is 20 volts. Ang pinapahanap sa atin is charge and the energy stored. So, charge Q and the energy stored. Now, solving for Q, again, anong formula natin ng Q? Ano pong formula natin? Q is equal to
CV po.
CV. Okay, direct substitution lamang. That is 3 times 10 is to negative 12 times 20. So, ilan po yung charge? Ilan po ito? So, pwede nyo retain mo na ito. That is just 60 pico. Anong unit? pico. It's the unit of charge.
Coulomb po.
Columns po.
Nasundan po ang nandito. Direct substitution. Pinapakuha din sa ating energy stored. Solving for energy stored. Again, anong formula natin for energy stored? W is equal to
1/2 CV squared po.
this must be 1/2 CV squared. Direct substitution again. It is 3 times 10 raised to negative 12 times 20 BM squared. What is our energy stored? Ilan po ito? Twenty squared is 400. 400 times 3 is 1, 2. Half of 1, 2 is 600. Ito, balik na lang natin. Nakapiko. What's the unit?
Diyos daw po.
Nakapiko joules. Ang nasundan po ito. Questions. For example, number 6. Walang questions. Proceed tayo sa example number 7. You are asked to solve the voltage across a 4.5 microfarad capacitor if the charge on one plate is 0.12 millicoulomb. So, listahin ulit ang given. Binigyan ka ng capacitance 4.5 microfarad. Micro is what? Ano po ang micro? Times 10 raised to? This must be times 10 raised to negative 6. And then, binigyan ka ng charge na 0.12 millicoulomb. Milli is negative. Pinapahanap sa'yo is the voltage and the energy stored. If you're going to solve for V, V is equal to what? V is equal to okay, this must be Q over C. Diba, galing din sa Q is equal to CV. Substituting, Q mo is 0.12. It's a negative 3 all over 4.5. Ilan po ito? Ilan po yan? This is 26.6687 volts. We're going to solve for W naman. Solving for W, W is equal to 1/2 CV squared. So, ito pala i-store natin to A para we have the exact value. This is equal to 1/2. C natin again is 4.5. And then, naka-store kay A being squared. What is our stored energy? Ano po ang value ng ating W? This is 1.6 millijoules. Nasundan po ito. Questions. For example, number 7. Sige, walang questions. Proceed tayo sa example number 8. For example number 8, you are given a voltage function, given a capacitance, and you are asked to solve for the current through it. So, paano gagawin mo? Listahin mo na ulit ang given. Binigyan ka ng capacitance na 5 microfarad. Binigyan ka ng voltage function with respect to time. That is 10 cosine 6,000 t. 10 cosine 6,000 t volts. Ang pinapahanap sa iyo ay the current through it. How can you solve for that? You use the formula for current. Solving for I is equal to what? Equal to ano po yung ating current? Equal to
C multiply to quantity of D, dV over dt po.
dV over dt. O given, check ang given. Meron ba tayong capacitance? Meron na. However, wala pa tayong change in voltage with respect to time. So, ano gagawin mo? You need to differentiate your voltage function first. Solving first for the derivative of B of t. For dV dt. What is the derivative of this? 10 cosine 6,000 t. What is the derivative of your voltage function with respect to t? Ano po? Unang i-apply nyo dyan na rule. Differentiate 10 cosine 6,000 t. Magiging negative 6,000. 6,000 lang ba siya? Dapat ay negative 60,000. Kasi 10 times 6,000, no? Negative 60,000 sine 6,000 t. Ano na ba yung ating dV over dt? Pwede nang i-substitute sa ating formula. Bigyan ka ng capacitance 5 micro times negative 6,000 60,000 rather sine 6,000 t. What is your I? Okay, so that is negative 0.3 sine 6,000 t amperes. Nakuha po ito. Questions. Okay, walang questions. Proceed tayo sa example number 9. If a 10 microfarad capacitor is connected to a voltage source with voltage function of 75 sine 2000 t volts. O ano naman. So, okay na kuha dyan ay solve for I. Sige nga, try nyo nga yan. Same na same lang. Pakitry po ako. Solve for I yan. Sa O1. Sino po ang magsasolve? Magtry. Sige pa solve ako sa papel and then pasend sa GC. Kung sino mauna, maybe siya ang magpe-present. Sige po, pakipresent po ako ng solution. And then, paki-explain. Sige po, pa-explain po ako ng answer. Si Fatima ang nauna, so siya po ang mag-present.
Good afternoon po, sir. Visible na po.
Yes po.
So, kagaya po nung last problem, ang given po sa atin ay capacitance po, which is 10 microfarad or 10 times 10 raised to negative 6 farad. And yung V with respect to T po, which is 75 sine 2000 T. And we are required po to find the...
Nakikita niyo po yung papel ng engineer.
Ay, hindi po kita. Wait lang.
Hindi rin kita. Wala ko sa akin.
Ito po, sir. Kita na pa.
Ayan. Yan po. Sige po, you may proceed.
So, ayun po, ang given po natin ay capacitance, which is 10 microfarad or 10 times 10 raised to negative 6 farad. Tsaka po, volts with respect to time, which is 75 sine 2000 T volts. And we are required po to find I. And the formula po for I is capacitance times dV over dt. And yung dV over dt po, pag dinifferentiate po yung 75 sine 2000 T volts, magiging 15,000 ay 150,000 cosine 2000 T volts po. In which pinag-times po yung parameter ng sine sa 75, kaya po 150,000. Tapos yung kapag dinifferentiate po yung sign, magiging cosine po, positive 2000 T. Tapos, substituting po sa formula, kaya po 10 times 10 raised to negative 6 farad times 150,000 cosine 2000 T. And ang final answer po ay 1.5 cosine 2000 T. Hindi ko po sure kung amperes nga po. Thank you po.
Okay. You get the same answer? Bakit di po sure kung amperes? So, siya po ay amperes kasi you are asked to solve for the current. Ano po? Yung iba, nakuha din ng iba, 1.5 cosine 2000 T amperes. Okay, sige, let's continue. Okay, let's try to solve example number 10. For example number 10, you are asked to obtain the energy stored in each capacitor. So, Let's take a look at the figure. O dito sa ating circuit, meron tayong dalawang capacitors. Si 2 millifarad at saka si 4 millifarad. Ang sabi sa atin is to obtain the energy stored or the W in each capacitor. So kung ito ay ating C1 and this is C2, so ang hinahanap sa atin is si W1 at saka si W2. Now, how can you solve for the values of the energy stored in each capacitor? In solving W, alam natin to solve for W, ang kailangan natin is the values of the capacitances and the value of the voltage across them. 1/2 CV squared. Checking the circuit again. Meron tayong capacitance? Meron. The problem is, wala pa tayong value ng voltage. So, kailangan nating malaman ano kayong voltage na nagpo-flow across the two capacitors. So, how can we do that? So, una po natin gagawin, dapat tandaan, step 1. In DC conditions, kailangan you replace each capacitor with an open circuit. O, paano kung gagawin? Say for example, this is your circuit. Yun daw yung capacitor, i-open circuit mo. So, ano magiging itsura? Magiging ganito. No? Short circuit mo siya. I-open circuit rather dito sa iyong yung iyong capacitors. Ay naintindihan. And then, ang sunod mong gagawin. Kasi bakit mo kinuha yan? Bakit mo in-open circuit? You are interested in getting the voltage across dito to solve for the energy stored. So, paano yung makukuha? So, i-open circuit mo yan and then kuhanin mo yung voltage across that. So, paano gagawin? Noong in-open circuit mo, anong magiging itsura na ng iyong circuit? What can you observe? What can you observe sa naging itsura ng iyong circuit? So, ito na yon. Na-open circuit mo na. So, since this is open circuited, mayroon pa bang current na magpo-flow across 5 kilo ohm resistor? Wala na. So, dapat ito ay disregarded na. So, ano na lang ang connection between the 4 kilo ohm and the 2 kilo ohm resistor?
Series po.
So, they are just connected in series. So, alam mo, at series, that your R is just 2 kilo plus 4 kilo. And that is 6 kilo ohms. So, yung combination nitong dalawa, these two, ay 6 kilo ohms na lang. You are interested in what is the voltage across the 2 kilo ohm resistor. Kasi bakit? Kung makuha mo yung voltage across here, Tama bang sabihin na yun din yung voltage across here? Oo, kasi they are connected in parallel. Therefore, kung ano yung reading dito, that is actually the reading across the 2 kilo ohm resistor. So, alin pa ang kailangan natin? Kung ito yung open circuited, disregarded na ito, to get the value of V2, kailangan kong kuhanin ang value ng voltage across the 4 kilo ohm resistor. Tama ba? O, how can we do that? To solve for the value of V here, I need the value of the current flowing through here. Tama ba? Kasi that is VIR. By Ohm's law, that is VIR. Kung kukunin ko din yung nandito, kailangan ko din ng current across the 4 kilo ohm resistor. Multiply ko lang ng 4 kilo ohm, I get dV already. So ano na ngayon ang problema natin? We need to solve for the value of the current flowing through that branch. So how can we do that? Kita mo that your circuit has a current source na 6 milliamperes. And alam mo na itong 2 kilo ohm and 4 kilo ohm is just connected in series. Nung siya yung kinombine, sabi mo that is just equal to 6 kilo ohm. Now, simplifying yung circuit, ano na lang itsura niya? What is the connection between 3 kilo ohm and 6 kilo ohm resistors?
Parallel po.
They are just connected in parallel. Alalahanin ang ating previous topics. At parallel, we can apply CDT. Kasi di ba ang kailangan nga natin, ano kaya yung current na nagpo-flow dito? Ano yung current na nagpo-flow dito? So, ang kailangan natin is the value of current. Gamitan natin ang current divider theorem. Naalala pa ang current divider theorem? Ha? Kung kukuhanin daw yung I1, ano dapat nga sa taas? At sa taas is
R2 po.
this must be R2 over R1 plus R2 multiplied by IT. Kung kukunin naman si I2, nasa taas is si R1 plus R2 multiplied by I total. Now, the question is, alin ba ang kailangan natin? We are interested in the current flowing through the 2 kilo ohm resistor and the 4 kilo ohm resistor. Therefore, alin na lang isolve natin? Si I2 ba o si I1? No, para hindi na natin siya isolve parehas kasi isa lang naman yung kailangan natin. Alin ang kailangan natin? Si I2 or si I1? We are interested in the value of this current. Itong current na ito po ay nagpo-flow through the 2 kilo ohm resistor and the 4 kilo ohm resistor. I1 or I2 po ang kailangan natin para mabilis. Okay, si I2 na lang ang ating isolve. Kasi hindi naman natin kailangan si I1. Kasi for example, you treat this as your R1, si 3 kilo ohm, and you treat this as your R2. Diba you're interested only on the current flowing through the 6 kilo ohm resistor or the combination of 2 and 4 kilo ohm resistors. So you solve na lang for the value of I2. Solving for I2. Using CDT, I2 is equal to R2 over R1 plus R2 multiplied by RT. So ano ano pong R2 natin? R2. Dapat this must be R1 kasi I2 ang hinahanap natin. So R1 natin is 3 and then, so this is 3 kilo. This is 3 kilo plus the other one is 6 kilo. Multiplied by what is our I total? That is 6 milli. O ilan po yung ating I2?
Two milliamperes po.
This is 2 milli ampere. So alam na natin that the current flowing through the 2 kilo ohm resistor and the 4 kilo ohm resistor is just 2 milliamperes. So since they are connected in series, same lamang ang magfo-flow diyan. Now, can we solve for the values of V1 and V2 na? Kasi if we're going to solve for the value of V1, we can actually get that by using 2 kilo ohm resistor and the current flowing through it. Kasi they are connected in parallel naman. Tama ba? How can we now solve for the value of V1 and V2? Okay, so solving for V1, so ang dami pa pala tayong space. Dito na natin gamitin. Solving for V1, your V1 is just what? Yung iyong ano yung V1 mo? 2 kilo ohms at saka 2 milliamps. 2 kilo at saka 2 milli. So, ilan po ang V1? This is just 4 volts. Solving for V2, that is just ganyan, 4 kilo at saka 2 milli. Excuse me. So this is just 8 volts. Now, meron na tayong values ng voltages. Can we now solve for the values of the energy stored across that capacitors? Pwede na ba ma-solve? Okay. Solving for solving for W1. To solve for W1, we need the value of C1 and V1 squared. That is 1/2. Ano yung ating C1? Yan na yun. 2 milli. And then yung ating V1 nakuha natin at 4 volts, V1 squared. Therefore, yung W1 natin is equal to That is 0.016. What is the unit? So ito yung naka-joule. So pwede ko siyang i-present as 16 millijoules. Nakuha po ito? Now let's solve for W2. W2, kakailanganin naman natin ay si C2 at saka si V2. Yung C2 natin is ilan nga? 4 milli ba yan? 4 milli. And then, nakuha natin si V2 at 8. What is our W2? .128 joules, or can be written also as 128 millijoules. Sundan po ito. Questions. For example, number 10. Okay, so ano ang ating ginawa? Yung ating capacitors, in-open circuit po natin. Nung ma-open circuit, nag-apply tayo ng Ohm's law, current divider theorem. Naintindihan? May tanong po tayo? Okay, walang questions. Let's talk about parallel capacitors. Pag parallel capacitors, if you take a look at the circuit, so same pa din naman. Kasi if you take a look at the behavior of the current, nagkaroon ng branches. So yung branches mo, may current na flow, current na flow, current na flow. Therefore, yung iyong total current is the summation. So still, pag parallel tayo, summation. However, anong nag-iba? Papansin nyo, at parallel capacitors, your equivalent capacitance is equal to the summation of individual capacitances present in the circuit. So, paano po yung nangyari from this formula? Nag-integrate, and then lumabas ay summation. So, tatandaan, pag parallel capacitor, kukunin ng equivalent capacitance, kabaligtaran, para siyang series capacitor. Equivalent capacitance is just the summation of the individual capacitances. Naintindihan? Pagka naman siya ay series, kabaligtaran din. Pero yung principle natin will remain. Merong individual voltage dissipated across each capacitances. Pero pagdating sa equivalent capacitance, pag series, your equivalent capacitance is equal to the inverse, the summation of the inverse. Being inverse. Okay, so hindi na kailangang mag-ahas-ahas, mag-integrate. Basta tandaan na lamang kung paano ang parallel resistors, ganun ang series capacitances, capacitors. Naintindihan po? Huwag malilito ha. Sige, kung talagang naintindihan, let's try to solve example number 12. Calculate the equivalent capacitance of two capacitors, 6 microfarad and 4 microfarad, connected in parallel and connected in series. Paano gagawin mo? at parallel, alam mo that the equivalent capacitance is just the sum of 4 and 6. 6 micro plus 4 micro. Equivalent capacitance is just 10 micro farad. Simple as that. Mabaligtad ha, pag parallel, summation. At series, what is the equivalent capacitance? Since yan ay two capacitors connected in series, gamitan ng product over sum. Ano po ang ating equivalent capacitance? That is 2.4 microfarad. Okay. Questions. For example, number 12. Okay, ito lang questions. Let's try to solve the next example. For the circuit given in the figure, you're asked to solve for the voltage across each capacitor. So, meron ka dyan 4 na capacitor. Therefore, meron ka 4 na values ng voltages na dapat kuhanin. So, ano muna ang una mong dapat gawin? With circuit analysis, saan ka mag-uumpisa? Alam mo that 40 and 20 is connected in parallel. So therefore, at parallel, that is just 40 plus 20. So that is equal to 60 milli. Now, yung combination nito is naka-series naman sa 20 and sa 30. So at series, we can get the equivalent capacitance of this circuit. So that is just 20 plus 30 plus 60. Ilan po ang, hindi. Series nga yan, sir, eh. So that is the inverse ng 20, ng 30, at saka ng 60. Will be a inverse. These are all naka-milli. So ilan po ito? Equivalent capacitance is so this is 10 millifarad. So meron ka ng equivalent capacitance. So ano ang dapat mong sunod na gawin? Kasi ang kailangan mo, makuha ang value ng V1, V2, V3, and V4. Pero paano ba natin sinosolve ang voltage? Alam natin that to solve for voltage, kailangan natin is what? Ano pong kailangan natin? IR, that is Ohm's law. Pero dito sa atin, sa capacitors, Ano yung formula natin ng V? Galing sa Q is equal to CV. So, V is equal to Q over C. So, ano pala ang kulang natin? Kailangan muna nating makuha. We need the value of the charge first. Ano to? So, para hindi hindi malito. Let us treat yung Q dito sa circuit natin as the current. No, kasi bakit ano ba si Q? Di ba si charge? Kung kukunin mo si charge, that is actually, kung kukunin mo si current pala, that is actually the change in charge with respect to time. Tama ba? Kaya pwede pala nating i-relate na si charge doon sa ating current. So kung kukunin ko yung charge flowing through here, paano ko yung kukunin? Ano kailangan na natin? Kung itong charge nitong ating kukunin, this is actually the total charge. Now, kung kukunin ko is total charge, how can we get that? Alin po ang kakailangan nating values? Analyze. Kukunin ko ang charge across this. Anong values ang kakailanganin ko? Ayun po. Alin pong charge ang kukunin? Is it only the charge across the 20 millifarad? Ano po yun? Yun po ang tinatanong ko. That is actually the total charge. Tama ba? So, kung total charge ito, ano pong parameters ang kailangan ko? Aling values, rather? Solving for charge. Q is equal to CV. Alin tong C na kinukuha ko? Alin ba tong capacitance na kailangan ko? This is the equivalent capacitance times the source voltage. Sabi natin, nakuha natin na equivalent natin is 10 milli. Multiplied by source voltage is 30 volts. O, ilan po ang aking charge? Ilan po ito? .3 coulomb. No, kung meron na tayong charge, can we now solve for the value of V1? Pwede na ba? May charge na tayo. This is your total charge. Pero if you can see in the figure, in the circuit diagram, kung ano yung total charge na mag-flow sa circuit mo, ayun din ang dadaan across millifarad and 30 millifarad. Tama ba? Ang treatment natin kay charge is current. O, series. Ibig sabihin, equal lamang ang charge across 20 and 30. Tama ba? Tama po? O, can we now solve for the values of V1 and V2? Okay, solving for V1. We're going to solve for V1. That is yung Q total over C1. This is 0.3. C1 natin is 20 milli. O, ilan po itong V1? This is 15 volts. Makaisa na tayo. Solving for V2. V2 is equal to total charge over C2. That is 0.3 over, ano natin C2? 30 milli. This is 10 volts. Now, how can we solve for the values of V3 and V4? Ano po gagamitin natin? Kasi as you can see, itong ating charge, total charge Q, is equal doon sa flow na charge doon sa combination of these two. Tama ba? Equal dito. So you can solve for the value of V3 and V4. O para mas mabilis, by mere analysis of the circuit, nakuha mo na yung V1, nakuha mo na yung V2. Kung susundin mo ang principle na yung ating voltage source, yun lamang ang paghahati-hatian ng lahat ng elements in the circuit. Nakuha mo na si V1, sabi mo this is 15, sabi mo ito ay 10. O ilan na lang natira? Alam mo naman that this V3 and V4 is parallel to each other. Therefore, equal lamang ang kanilang value. Tama ba? So, ilan po yung ating V3 and V4? Ganting sabihin, by inspection, nakita namin that V3 is just equal to V4 because they are connected in parallel. And if we're going to analyze the circuit, nakuha na namin si V1 and V2. Therefore, siya na lamang is 30 minus the sum of V1 and V2. Tama ba? O ilan na lamang po si V3 and V4? This is just 5 volts. Naiintindihan po? O kung gusto mo naman, gamitin mo ito. Itong si 60 millifarad. Kasi alam mo nga naman, ang mag-flow din doon na charge ay 0.3 coulombs. So kung kukunin ko yung voltage across 40 and 20, for example, solving for V doon sa 20 and 40, that is 0.3 over Ilan yung ating equivalent? That is 60 milli. O, ilan po ito? This is just also 5 volts. So, kahit saan ka dumaan, kung saan ka mas nadadalian, it's up to you. Basta wala kang nilalabag na principle ng series parallel connections. Naintindihan po ito? Questions? Meron pong questions? Okay, if wala ng questions, try to solve this example number 13. Yun nga yung sinulog natin. Tapos na pala. Tanggalin ko na ito, hindi na natin nagamit. This one, and this one. So try to solve ito. Example number 1. So this is RLC na. So dito naman nagtatapos yung ating module 5.1. Walang questions. Wala pong questions. Try to solve this sa inyong bahay sa ating remaining time. Hindi ko na isusundo doon sa 5.2 kasi mag-aalangan lang din tayo. So next meeting na natin buksan yung module 5.2 para tayo ay dire-diretso. Try to solve this kung kayang sagutan. And then bago tayo magsimula next meeting, we will try to discuss or solve this in front of the class. Okay, naintindihan po? Walang questions. Malinaw ang naging discussions. Sige, if wala ng questions, siguro I'll end the lesson here. So this is module 5. Yes po.
Sir, question po, pero hindi po sa lesson. Kailan na po yung magiging submission na po ng hard copy po ng lab report?
Kayo ga po ay may face-to-face this week.
Wala na po. Bale, ang face-to-face na po ata namin ay by Sunday na.
Ayun, edi kahit Sunday na po. Anong oras kayo sa Sunday? Kasi next week tayo online na naman. Hindi na naman tayo magkikita. Kasi supposedly ang ating katangi-tanging face-to-face class ay noong Monday. But because of the super typhoon, ay hindi po tayo makapag-meet. So anong oras po kayo nandito sa Sunday?
10 a.m. to 1 p.m. po.
Siya, sige po. Ako naman po ay available na 7 to 1 sa Sunday. Jadi kahit pakidala na lang po dito sa EE Faculty Room, 4th floor po, left wing ng Albert Einstein. Dito sa ating room. Kahilera ng ginagamit natin na room, yung faculty room po. Okay po. And then, ano pa bang mga announcements? So, since tayo ay nanakawa na naman ng isang araw, ng isang meeting, tatry namin mag-apply for make-up class. Kasi tayo ay medyo iwanan kung kundi na ang natitira sa ating preparation for the final exam. So, medyo madami pa tayong kailangan i-discuss. Kasi supposedly, itong mga concepts ay hindi na dapat i-discuss. Pero kasi, nag-alinlangan akong mag-jump na into 5.3 kung hindi ito madadaanan nang wala kayong background. Kasi baka mas mahirap intindihan yung ating main topic. Kasi supposedly, yung ating main topic for finals is RLC circuit. Yung pagsasama-samahin na natin ang resistor, ang capacitor, ang inductor and capacitor, RLC. Magkakaroon na tayo ng impedance. So, ito na yung ating AC circuits. So, mapansin nyo yung ating midterms, more on DC tayo. So, DC circuits. Yung ating another half of the semester ay all about AC circuits. Po? So, magkakaroon tayo ng impedance. Familiar na sa impedance, represented by big letter Z. Mga imaginary numbers, yung I sa Q. Familiar na? Okay. So, may background na kayo. Nagamit na ba ito sa physics? Yung bar angle, yung mga imaginary numbers, yung letter I sa Q. So, at least ay hindi naman tayo ganoong mag-dig deeper on the foundation. Kasi at least meron na kayong knowledge. So, ito talaga ay dinaanan ko lang. Supposedly, hindi nga daw dapat. Pero kasi feeling ko ay mas magtatagal tayo na ma-absorb yung ating main topic if you don't have the background on the concepts. Pero so far po, malinaw ang concept ng capacitor and inductors. Wala namang nakakalito. Wala pong questions? Sige, walang questions. Siguro I'll end muna the discussion here para pagbalik natin sa Monday, dire-diretso na tayo ng 5.2. Yung mga dapat ipasa ay di ipapasa na Sunday. Kasi ang dami ko na, chika, tambak na dito. Yung midterm grade, so hindi ko pa alam kung kailan ma-release since wala pa din namang memo to release your midterm grade. Pero as soon as matapos ko lahat itong inyong assessments, malagyan ng grade, pwede ko nang i-return sa inyo, pwede ko nang ipasilip ang inyong midterm grade. Para at least aware kayo kaano ba kalaki ang kailangan kong habulin sa finance. Yung inyong laboratory report? Ina-expect ko magaganda. Pero nung nag-browse ako, meron talagang basta na nagpasa. Merong student nagpasa ng 35 pages. Meron namang 10 pages lamang. So, siguro ay sinabi ko naman sa inyo pa ulit-ulit that your laboratory report would be graded on how you present your paper. How you discuss yung content sa loob and how you formulate your conclusion. Siguro sa banda-banda diyan, ako mag-uumpisa ng mag-check ng PSET and na dito ng laboratory. So, inuna ko lang talaga matsukan lahat ng assessments. Itong inyong midterm exam at yung remedial exam. So, ito ay maire-record ko na kasi na-checkan ko na din yung inyong remedial exam. Para dun sa mga nakataas, di congratulations. Mataas ang score. Dinarab ang opportunity na mabigyan ni sir ng dalawang pagkakataon. Pero doon naman sa iba na hindi man lang talaga nag-try, hindi na nag-aaral, hindi kung ano na lamang po yung inyong nakuha. yun talaga ang magre-reflect sa inyong grade. Naintindihan po? So, sige. So, 10 minutes na lang din naman ang natitira. Yung inyong attendance. So, kunin ko na lang sa tracker. Ano pa ba? Yun. So, yung inyong laboratory experiment number 2 is tinatrabaho pa kung kayang gawin ng hands-on. Para at least bago tayo maghiwa-hiwalay sa basic PE, magkaroon kayo ng hands-on learning, hands-on experience sa electrical engineering. So sana yun ay ma-approve, magawa ng paraan, mahabol sa oras para maganda ang inyong core memory sa GEE. Ano po? May questions pa? Sige, wala ng questions. I'll be giving you the remaining time na gawin kung ano man ang mga pwede pang gawin. Sige po, you may now leave the meet. Class